So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the mini Educator e-collar that is a part of your training program here at Fluent Dog Training. So I always recommend charging it every night, just because that way you're actually going to remember to charge it and you're not going to be stuck with the collar that doesn't have a charge when you need it. So you can charge the collar and the remote at the same time. You just unplug it in the morning, don't need that anymore, and just make sure you close the port. So see, it has this little rubber thing right here. Close that. That makes it waterproof. And same with this one, has a little rubber port. Close that. Then you're going to need to turn on the remote and the collar. So to turn on the remote, there's a big button on the back that says on off, and it has an L on it. So you just hold that down until it flashes blue. That means this is on. Always need to make sure both aspects of it are turned on. So to do that, you pair red to red, these two little dots, and you see it flash green, that means it's on. If it flashes red, that means it's off. And if it is on but flashing red, then that means it's low on battery. So we'll turn it on again. Different functions of the e-collar. So you've got 3 buttons on the sides here. I typically will hold it like this. So I've got my pointer finger here. This black button will go at the level that's shown on the screen. So right now, that's a 7. The red button will go +5 of whatever is shown here. The T, it says T because you can program it to tone, but right now we have it set to vibrate. So I typically will use vibrate as kind of a leave it or no type of sensation because most dogs hate it. And they actually have a much more aversive response to it than the electronic stim, which we use more for communication. In order to change the level, you just rotate the dial like this. If you had the remote in your pocket and you wanted to lock it, make sure that, this isn't moving around and the levels aren't changing when you don't intend them to. Just press down on the dial till the number flashes. So now when I turn the dial, nothing happens. And then I press it again, and it goes to whatever level it would have been when I was moving the dial around. Another cool feature that it has, I mentioned the L is for light. So if you're walking your dog at night, you press that once, it'll go flashing light. Press it again, it's solid. I kind of prefer that one just because it's easier to see. You do need to make sure that when the collar's on your dog, it's pointing down. Otherwise, the light is just going to shine into their ear, and that's not super helpful to you at night. So I'll turn that off. And those are the main functions of the e-collar. In terms of how we use it, kind of how we've gone over in lessons, it's pressure on until the dog does the command. So you're going to tap the button as you say the command. Once you see the dog has the intention of completing the command, like he starts running towards you for come, then you relieve the pressure. You don't need to have the pressure on if you can see the dog is clearly about to do the command. You can always put the pressure back on if you need to. And then you reward once the dog has completed the command for you. So that can be food, praise, affection, whatever it is your dog likes. And we can go into that further in lessons. But that's the basics, and please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so in terms of actually using the e-collar and putting it on a dog. So take it off and put it back on. So you want to make sure that you put it on one side of the neck because that's a flat part of the dog's neck and it's likely to stay there more so than on top or on the bottom, and fasten it with the toggle like this. So you want to make sure that when you move the box, it's tight enough that the skin moves with it. If not, it's not tight enough, and it's likely that it's going to move around, fur can get under the contact points, and then it won't work if the contact points aren't making contact with the skin. If you're finding that you need to go up levels and the dog still isn't responding, it's probably that the e-collar is not making contact with the skin. So make sure you check that and readjust if you need to. You should make sure to shift the side that the e-collar is on a couple times throughout the day, like every 4 to 6 hours or so, just to make sure it's not always putting pressure on 2 spots on the dog's neck and causing pressure sores. That's really the only danger of injury from the e-collar. If there's moisture, especially, like if your dog swims, has the e-collar on, that can cause irritation of the skin and cause some sores. So make sure after your dog swims or gets wet, while it has the e-collar on, just take it off, let the skin dry, wipe off the e-collar, make sure that's dry too before you put it back on the dog. But that's true for any collar. You want to make sure that there's just not moisture trapped that can cause bacteria. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Make sure you move it, make sure the skin is dry, make sure the e-collar is making contact with the skin. And there you go. That's all you need to make sure you're using the e-collar safely and successfully. Sounds like, can we go outside now? Yes. Yes, sir.